storytellers lined up for you today. So I hope everyone brought a good attitude, maybe a cocktail or two, and just enjoy. It's a Saturday, and what better way to spend it by being here, listening to some fantastical tales and, you know, hanging out, vibing. So, welcome everyone once again. If you're just joining our room, this is a storytelling show on the app every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's where storytellers are given a theme. And based on the theme, they create a narrative filled with costume and some backdrops and fancy narratives. So they put on quite a show just for your entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. So please make sure we're keeping all of the comments and nice and respectful to our guests. And at the end of their stories, it's actually judged. Yeah, it's a competitive storytelling show. I forgot to mention that. It's a competitive storytelling show. We have fabulous judges, top badges, all three, who are amazing judges, always with great feedback and critiques. And it's just to help you keep returning and presenting even more fabulous tales. Now, if you'd like to be a guest on our show, you may say, hey, Mesh, I'd like to be part of your storytelling show. How can I do so? Well, I've got the answer to most things, but definitely this is that you can contact myself, or we have our admins are here in the room. It is Barriqua Queen, Lux, Emoji J, or myself. Please make sure that you're reaching out to any one of us. We would be happy to include you in our storytelling shows. Guys, it's not as difficult as everyone thinks it is. We've all been to, classes where we were just given an idea and told to create a story. It's all for fun. Just be creative. We're all streamers here on the app. So it's a great way to showcase what you can come up with if someone joined your stream. And I think that sometimes brightens everyone's room to see what kind of creativity we can all come up with. It always helps our streams. Don't be fearful. Our judges are all lovely. The audience are always amazing and supportive. So please throw all those anxieties away. Join the show. Message us. We have the themes already set. So listen, it's no blindsided that we're just going to thrust it to you as soon as you go into the box. We will give you the themes. We'll give you some tips. We'll show you some shows. We prepare you for it. And we're going to be taking note. I'm personally going to be taking note of our guests today. And we're going to be reaching out to some of you to see if you'd like to be a guest on our show. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, I must shout out and thank my top 3 supporters of the stream. Right now, it's top badge Smurfy and newly top badge Kitty Commander, and my sissy Joe Bess is up there. Please make sure you have those 3 supporters favorited. It's always helpful to your streams when we have amazing support. Keeps us encouraged to be on here. Also, must be mindful, at 4 o'clock, I will declare a goal king or queen of my stream, and your name will be attached to mine, and also for the show, and also you'll get a shout out on IG. So if anyone is looking for a little bit more of a promo, just being at number 1 on top. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you're like, Mesh, I've been talking all this time. Can you start the show? Well, yes, sirree, Bob. We can get this show started. And now, without further ado, please welcome to the box our intro for the day. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome to Once Upon a Mejstory, a storytelling show here on the app every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're tuning into to today's episode, it is the Time Traveler's Daughter. Now, before these storytellers pop in, if anyone would like to be part of our show, please feel free to contact myself or any of my admins. Please reach out to us. We'd love to have you on. And the Time Traveler's Daughter, I can't wait to see what they have prepared for us. This is one of my favorite stories that we thought of one of my favorite themes that we thought of. So what will they bring to us? Who knows? But if you'd like to be part of our show, please make sure you're reaching out to us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please, all of the storytellers, please request the box. And all the storytellers, please request the box. I apologize that I might not be able to acknowledge all of the gifts, just in respect to keeping it themed on our storytellers. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present and welcome our first storytelling guest. She is also an admin here on my show. We are going to welcome, oh, look at her face, all beautiful, lit up. The beautiful Boricua Queen. She is going to be giving her take on the Time Traveler's Daughter. What tale will she spin regarding time travel? Stay tuned. Be here. She will let you know. Whenever
Hello,
you're ready, Boricua, introduce yourself and then go into your story.
hello everybody. My name is Boricua Queen. I have been here on the app for almost 3 years. I'm Mesh admin. I also do different music shows, judging as well. I'm a singer here on the app. So if you're interested on any show, just please hit me up. And here we go. This is my story take on the Time Traveler's Daughter. Once upon a time, there was a man that had the ability, or some might say, a curse of traveling time. And you might ask yourself, why a curse? Well, I will start telling you the reason why it was a curse. But first, could you imagine yourself of having a perfect life and missing something? Something, you might say. Well, let me tell you. I was 6 years old when I got my first encounter with this man. At first, I didn't know until my mother told me that that was my father. My father? I replied. Yes, my father. He has traveled in time to bring me a special gift. A gift that will make us connect to each other. Hmm. As I opened the box, I saw this beautiful necklace. Then, when I first put it on that necklace, I was transported in time. Oh, I was transported to this place. I see a big, beautiful hill in front of me. And there he was, my father, sitting on top of a blanket with a beautiful picnic basket. We had the most amazing, beautiful time. But then, however, it didn't last long. You might ask why. I was transported back to my house again. Hmm. I couldn't understand why my father couldn't be with me at all times. You might think, hey, you have this gift that he gave you. It's simple. You can connect with him at any time. But the own necklace only works certain times. So every moment is magical. Then I remember another time. By then, I was 18. I was transported to an island, a beautiful island. I was mesmerized with the beautiful, clear water and the sound of the waves. Then there he was. Dad! I yelled while we run to each other's arm. I could feel the tears rolling down my cheeks as we hug each other, and he tells me that he loves me. As I am getting comfortable and enjoying the time with my father, there you go again. I get transported back to my place. I'm back in my home. I started to cry. I yelled because I couldn't understand why time was my enemy, my curse, which it will dictate to me where, when, and how I will spend time with my father, waiting for the seconds, minutes, hours that be transported again to have a moment with him. As I am crying, my mother comes and enters in my room, and she sat down at my bed. I look up and I look at her, and with warm voice she tells me, I understand exactly how you feel. But think about this special time and beautiful moments that you have with your father. And instead of thinking of a curse, think about the most special moments and the moments that you have with him to cherish. Each moment is special. So now, instead of me seeing life as dark, bad, meaningless, I view my life like every day will be the last day. The last day that I can get to grow, love, succeed, explore, learn. That not a second will be wasted and that you will cherish every moment with the people that loves you. Time is not a curse, but a learning experience. The end.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are now tuning in, you were listening to The Time Traveler's Daughter, told by Bariqua Queen. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you have her favorited. Go pop into her room, check her out when she streams. Thank you so much for sharing that
Thank
story
you.
with us. Well done, Bariqua. Okay, you know the drill. She's going to be right back in the audience, and she is going to wait for the end when we have our judges are going to box up, and they are going to give their feedback. And later, they will decide on the winner of today's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, 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 one and all, to Once Upon a Mejstory, a storytelling show here on the app every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're tuning in, today's episode is called The Time Traveler's Daughter. What tales will our storytellers spin for us? Stay tuned, hang out, enjoy yourself, comment as you like, but keep them respectful. Definitely make sure you're favoriting all of the guests. Please favorite my top 3 supporters of the stream, because at 4 o'clock, I will decide on the gold, king, or queen. Well, It'll be decided by the number one bubble. Now, before we introduce our next guest, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to be a guest on our show, please reach out to either myself or any of the admins here in the stream. Emoji J, Lux is here, Bariqua Queen also, who was a storyteller. She's also an admin for the show. You can reach out to any of us. We would love to have you share your story with us. Thank you for all of the gifts. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to present our next storyteller. Please make sure you have him favorited. This is Savage. He is going to briefly introduce himself, and then he is going to tell you his tale of the time traveler's daughter. Sir, thank you so much for being a part of my show. Whenever you're ready, please introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me. My name is Savage Cook. I am part of the Lotus Lounge family. One of their bouncers. I rarely stream, but if anyone wants to see me or catch me, I'll be in Uma B 111's live Monday through Friday, 7, or through her feature show Wednesday at 4 p.m. And yeah, just find me there. And I guess I'll start with my story. So this story begins a certain date, March 10th, 2023. It has been 5 years since the time traveler, known to many people, that has traveled, and he was disappeared. Here comes a lovely woman. She comes in, I guess, walking through the meadow, and she thinks about her family. And her name is Felicity Santos. So Felicity thinks about her past, her lineage, and what she wants to know and how her family is. And she goes to a computer, looks up her family lineage, and she is very amazed at all her ancestors and all her stuff. But she gets very weary about a certain past that was very dark and not known to people. It would have been her grandfather. Her grandfather was not in any of her lineage or anything. She was sad and melancholy. So she started to ask her grandmother and her father. Her father never knew his dad, so he doesn't know too much of it. Her grandmother, sad to even hear his name, did not want to talk about it. So one day she was thinking, and she knew about her father, and she knew what he was. So what she did is asked her father, let me go back in time. But the father refused, and he warned her, anything that you change back in the past will change time itself. And he told her not to go over there or back. The next day, she disobeyed her father, took the medallion that was especially made for time, and she went and started going and clicking on the time. The time machine started going. The amulet was glowing, and it went faster and faster. And the next thing you know, it stopped. She was in a dark alley, Well, where was she? So she ended up going to a nearby club in the Bronx. She flashed back to the time, August 26, 1976. And she goes inside the club, and there's a crowd that she's never seen before. But it was through the 70s, disco ball, and and sorry for that. And all she saw was red, disco ball going, dropping, and everything. So she noticed the crowd, and she didn't know what to make of it, but she saw one specific man that she recognized from the picture. And he walks in the crowd, all all machismo, all gallant, and all man. His name, as the song came to play, was Wilson Romeo Santos. He comes in. Oh, hold on one second. Her, fa- Her father warned her about what would happen if she interfered in these events. And she knew in her mind she wanted to know about her grandfather. And her grandfather had his fedora hat and a lovely suit that comes in very, very dark. Everybody knew him, everybody. And they go in, talking to him. He goes around, grabbing his drinks, grabbing mojito, and starts looking around the room. And looks around, looks at all the ladies. So all the ladies were looking at him, and they were falling for him. Like they all went towards him, and they loved what he was. This big gangster-like man. And they were all dropping on his feet. So while her granddaughter, who he doesn't know, sees her grandfather, goes up to him, tries to talk. But as she tries to talk, something happens. Something really happens. There was a noise, a shout, and everything started going crazy. And she looked back. It was the cops. Cops were roaring in, and they were going into a club trying to arrest everyone. And you can hear the crowd going and talking, and you can still hear it. Ooh, hold on. And as she saw the crowd, they were all stunned. They were like, what's going on? What's going on? So she runs away from the cops, thinking that they were going to catch her. But in one single swoop, she saw her grandfather hiding in red, very dark, and sees the woman. But he's with another woman. Who is she, by the way? She's never seen the woman before. She turns around and it's her grandmother. Her grandmother, as she never seen before. Then she knew that her grandfather was very, very bad. He was a well-known gangster that nobody wanted to know. And her grandmother was ashamed of him. So as her grandmother approaches her at a younger age, she, I guess, looks at the machine and she comes back to the regular time that she was in. And not knowing the fact that all she did was saw the memories of her grandfather. And now she knows why her father never knew. Many years later, she would end up looking for his name. As a matter of fact, he died 10 years later. He was raided by the cops and was shot dead. And she was sad and profound with so much despair, but at the same time, she loved her father so much that she would keep her secret to him forever. And when the next day she goes to her grandmother's house, she looks at her. She says, Abuelita, I love you. I wish I knew more of you, and I wish I was there with you at that time. Gives her a big hug, and they just walk into the distance, thinking about her family. The end.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're now tuning in, you have been listening to Savage give his take on the Time Traveler's Daughter. Please make sure you have him followed. He's going to jump right back into the audience and he is going to weigh the judges' feedback. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for being part of our show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to be a storyteller here on our show, what does it take? Well, first it takes you favoriting me. Also, please make sure you are reaching out to myself or any of the admins because anyone can be a storyteller here on our show. We usually give you all the tips, the guidelines, the stories ahead of time so you can prepare it a little better. Because why? Because it's judged. It's a little competitive, ladies and gentlemen. So come prepared. We try to give you all of the tools to get you all set. Now, for anyone tuning in for the very first time, welcome to my featured show here on the app. It's every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's simply a storytelling show where we just look for a lot of fun, a lot of creativity, and you know what? It's a great opportunity for you to showcase your streams and the type of streamer that you are and the type of content creator you aspire to be here on the app. So thank you to everyone who's joining us and just enjoying the show. Please make sure you're favoriting the top three bubbles of the stream. At 4 o'clock, we are going to declare a gold king or queen from the looks of it. And that person is going to have their name beside mine for the next upcoming show. They'll also get a shout out on IG. So please make sure you're sending me your photo when we declare the winner for today. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, are you guys ready for some judging? What did you guys think? Do you think you can have told that story better? Well, you do have the chance to do so. You just got to let us know when you'd like to be on the show, and we will get you all set and situated. But you know what? Enough of me yammering along. we are going to have one of our judges box up. And I believe they're also, when they're in here, one of the judges is going to also go over what they look for. So they have a set of critiques and guidelines that they also follow, even as judges. And one of them is going to give us a little bit of that. It's going to go over some of the guidelines. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome to the box our first judge, top badge Smurfy. Put some respect on her name. She is going to go.
I didn't realize it was me first.
She is going to briefly introduce herself, and then she is going to give her feedback on today's storytellers. And a quick shout out. I know it's not appropriate, but you know, we're just a little extra. Congratulations on your win last night, honey.
Thank
All
you.
right. So big congratulations to Smurfy for smoking somebody out, you know. Anyway, back to the show. All right, Smurfy, take it away.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I was drinking tea and I didn't realize I was first, so apologies. My name is Smurfy. I am a top badge on Plenty of Fish. I absolutely adore this show. I love you, Mej. Not just because I love Mej, I adore the show because I love and appreciate the creativity that everybody brings when they do the show. I love everything that admins do in the background, from making the flyers to rounding up people to staying in contact with us. Like that, everyone is just incredible that's on Mej's team. So please make sure you favor them all. And please come on the show. Don't be scared to let your creative juices flow. If anyone is relatively new to the streaming world, the best way to get yourself out there is to network. The best way to network is to appear on a featured show. And what better way than something that's fun and creative, because it really gives people an insight into you and you're more likely to get your favorites up. So come on the show, hit up Lux, Bariqua Queen, and Emoji J, or any of them, or Mej himself, or one of us judges, and we will get you on the show. So that's what I wanted to start off with. We have significant criteria. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what criteria we score on because I don't want anyone cheating in the future, but it's a lot. We have to make an abundance of notes that we make when we are listening to the stories because there is such strict criteria that we score against. So that being said, let's get into it. I made so many notes today, starting off with the amazing Bariqua Queen. I kept typing in the comments that I was a mess because I was an absolute mess. I'm glad I don't have any makeup on because I needed tissue. Listen to your story because I got very emotional. So first and foremost, your music was at the perfect level. We could hear you clearly. There was nothing wrong with, you know, every single word was heard perfectly. So shout out to you for that. That's really important for people that come on in the future. If your music is too loud and we can't hear you, we can't follow the story, and then it makes it really challenging. I loved your makeup. You looked beautiful, my love. And I loved your backdrop as well. The glittery backdrop was everything. We had props, which we love. The necklace that was given to you by your father, which transported you in time. You had sound effects as well. The way in which you described your words was very engaging, and it kind of drew us into the story that you were telling. And that's really important because it does help us to follow the story more as well when we're engaged in the story. You did get to meet your father initially, but it was for a very brief period of time only. I was okay up to this point. I was still following along, making my notes and not really feeling any kind of way. And then as the story went on, it really, really touched me. So for anyone that doesn't know, I lost my father just over a year ago. I got goosebumps as you were reading your story because it really took me back to that moment of feeling like I didn't spend enough quality time with him, and we should all do that more. So don't take for granted the fact that they're here, even if they're not the best parents, because my dad wasn't the most amazing man in the world, but he was my father. But the sound of the waves, the way that you looked around was really great for taking us along the journey with you. I loved that. I loved how engaged you were with the audience as well, because sometimes people can tend to, because it's a lot to write a story, can tend to be following along on their story so much they're not really engaging with the audience. So I loved how you done that. Time was dictating your time with your father, which made you upset. And you said that you had tears and you were descriptive with that as well. And then your mother came in to say that ultimately it's quality versus quantity, which is so very true. And that's how you should live your life. Time is not a curse, but a learning experience. I thought, all in all, you ticked everything that we're looking for when we're scoring. But in addition to that, you told a beautiful story that I think probably touched a lot of people in here, in particular myself. It was really touching for me. It really hit home. So thank you so much. I really felt like it was almost a bit of therapy. So thank you, Breaker Queen. I feel like I needed to hear it without realizing I needed to hear it.
Right.
Next up was Savage. We started on March the 10th, 2023. You were very dramatic in your storytelling, which I don't think you realized you were, but that's a good thing. It kind of engaged me immediately. I was kind of like, okay, and where are we going now? And what are we doing next? So I love that about it. Felicity Santos was the name of the lady that was sort of researching her family and her lineage, but she had a dark past that she didn't know anything about. It was about her grandfather. There was a whole big sort of cloud around who the grandfather was. She didn't listen to her family. She disobeyed them. And she took the pendant. I would too, in honesty, because don't tell me what to do. I loved the sound effects that you had, the fact that you were transported to a dark alley, the way in which you described little bits of your story, probably without even realizing, draws us in even more. Then she saw a man. It was Wilson Romeo Santos. He sounded very handsome. He was described as very powerful, and we do love a powerful man. But she tried to talk to him. She wasn't able to. The police then arrived. The man was then escorted out, but he was with a woman, and it was the grandmother, right? It was the grandmother. So it was all very dramatic, which is exactly one of the things that we're looking for as well. The grandfather was a gangster. She returned back. And then she realized the reason as to why nobody wanted to have anything to do with him. I thought your story was really entertaining. I could almost see it being a movie because it was that entertaining. And I really loved that it drew us in, and it kind of went full circle. So you didn't really know at the beginning, then it told the story, but it took us all the way back full circle as well. But shout out to Granny. You know, you can't help who you fall in love with. If there's any grandfathers or daddies out there that are looking for somebody, feel free to hit my IG. Great job, everybody. I love this show. I'm going to get out of here, but my IG's linked to my bio, just FYI. Love you, Meg.
It's the shameless plug for me. Excuse me. This just turned into almost a dating show. Smurfy, great job as always. Ladies and gentlemen, you were just listening to Top Badge Smurfy from across the pond. Make sure that you hit her up with a favorite. She's also the #1 bubble of my stream, so definitely make sure you favorite all my top 3. Top Badge Smurfy, Top Badge Kitty Commander, and Trista. Make sure you have them favorited. Next up, we have the lovely Kitty Commander. Top Badge Kitty Commander. Put some respect on her name. She's a newly minted top badge. And a brief announcement is that she's also going to be in my top badge auction in another week or so. So make sure you come out and see her there. Her first ever appearance as a top badge auction. So please make sure we come and visit her. Katie also has a show, so she's going to introduce herself. And then she's going to jump right into the critiques for today's storytellers. Katie, take it away.
Okay, so I'm excited. So yes, I have a featured show Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Smurfy has a featured show right after this show today, you guys, as well. She forgot to mention that, which she always conveniently forgets to mention. But make sure you tailgate this show with Smurfy's show today too. And if you have a pet, I want to hear from you. Hit my Instagram and make sure. I know you were totally in the focus. You forgot. And so totally hit my Instagram up with your pet, and I'd love to have you on the show. I'm here for it. And or if you have a pet and you want it to be pet of the week, send me a picture of your pet and their name, and we'll see if they can become pet of the week one of these weeks coming up. So let me dive in.
Are people pets?
No, we really have to stick to our furry friends or slithering or fishy friends or something of the sort, a real pet. Hello.
No.
Okay. So let's without further ado, let's dive into these incredible, some are furry, yeah. Let's just dive into these incredible storytellers this week. Really truly, I want to emphasize the importance of understanding timing and stories. I really appreciated that the timing was paced in both of these storytellers. Their narratives were very well timed, and so that does two important things. One, it allows your audience to imagine what you're saying, and it also gives people who are judging time to imagine, take notes, and feel your story through too. It allows two things because you're grabbing the imagination. Baricua did that right out of the gate. She started out with this beautiful tale about, is this a blessing or is it a curse? And the dilemma was easily identified straight away. So the narrative was so strong because the dilemma of the situation was pointed out. So we knew that there was a problem here. But then it came back into the necklace and having magical moments throughout this time with her dad, and really her cherishing that time. I really loved how Baricua painted a complex picture of loss, as well as how time passes and how loss is not linear. It doesn't go from A to Z, now you're healed. Loss is something that stays with us over a lifetime. And I also appreciated the way that even though those things were not pointed out specifically, it was demonstrated through it with her narrative. And I love the end of the part where she's like, time is not a curse, but a learning experience. That's lovely because the thing is that sometimes we can look at time like it's a curse. And I really thought when you brought that forward with the mom, right? And the mom, that was exactly it right there. Like, even though she had struggled through all these years. So well done, really, Baricua, well done. I agree with Smurfy, the music was just right. The microphone that you used was just perfect mic phone. I mean, I may have helped with it. No, I'm just kidding. But the sound was perfect. The music was proper for the story. It wasn't like out of bounds. So your props really the grandfather might be named Medj with the fedora because you had a fedora on for a second. I thought that you might name this grandfather Mesh, but it was Wilson. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with a good name like Wilson. Strong. But I liked how you put a hat change in. I liked the lighting for the dramatic effect with the lighting. That gave me a moment where it said, like, this is something's gonna happen right here in this dramatic effect. I liked the fact that you came back on with the hat afterwards. You know, the cops always busting up a good time. That also fits really well. And you know, I like that you were like, who is this woman, this unknown woman to me, because you didn't recognize that she was there. I guess I liked all of what you had here. Like, I liked the whole story. I liked your sound effects. There were a couple rough points with your sound effects that were a little delayed. Your sound effects, though, were proper and they were used to enhance your story, and they felt like they did belong there. The timing kind of got you a couple times, but the effects were good. The dramatic appeal was also very, very well done. You know, and the end of it, it was just like a really good story about time travel, about getting to know where you came and who you're from, and what your roots are. All in all, these were two incredible storytellers. I probably have
Right.
gone on way too long talking about them. I think it's because there's, like I said, when you have some good stories, you guys, and please keep this in mind for next week if you're a storyteller. Pace yourself, give yourself enough time to reach to your audience. Timing is the best part. I feel like the reason that we have so much good feedback with these stories is because the timing gave us time to imagine it, and you guys did incredible. So thank you for your stories.
Great. Thank you. If anyone is tuning in here for the first time or just tuning in, you've been listening to Top Batch Kitty Commander give her feedback. She's one of the judges on my featured show. So the tale we were listening to earlier were the time traveler's daughter, and they were told by Bariqua Queen and Savage. So they both gave their take on the time traveler's daughter. That was the episode. And now the judges are boxing up and giving their feedback on what they thought the storytellers did and how they performed. So if you would like to be a guest on our show, please make sure you're reaching out to myself or any of the admins. Now, our last judge for the day is Zoe Essex, Top Badge Zoe. She is also in my Top Badge auction on April 7th. And I think I saw some other top badges in here. D'Angelo, I'm going to need a photo for you for my Top Badge auction. Anyway, Zoe, please introduce yourself and then jump right into your tale on these wonderful guests for today.
Thank you, Meg. So I'm Zoe Essex. I'm a top badge on the Meet Me app. Have been for coming up for a couple of years now. I haven't really got anything to promote just now, other than the auction, of course. I had a lot of things going on in my personal life, but please do give me a favorite anyway. And when I do manage to get on the stream, come and say hi. It's all been a bit crazy lately. But yeah, I would really like to echo what Smurfy said at the beginning. You know, this is such an amazing show. I know I say it all the time, but I do love it. I love the creativity. I love that kind of escape from reality for a little while. It's just, I really do enjoy it. And you know what? I really wasn't prepared for how deep that this theme was going to go this week. When you said the time traveler's daughter, I kind of was expecting some kind of a bit of a sci-fi Doctor Who kind of thing, but we really went deep with this, and it's so interesting that it tapped into this kind of the direction that it went into tonight. So we started with Bariqua Queen. I loved the makeup. that you did. I mean, like straight away, the minute you popped up onto the screen, it was sort of like made me curious and sort of like, oh, where's this going? So that was great right from the start. I loved the music. Yes, it did really tie in with the story really well. Also, I feel like most of the time when people have music, it actually really helps the storyteller with their pacing and stuff. If you've got the right kind of music going on, it helps you to kind of keep going with that rhythm. So that, I think that's actually a really useful tool for the storyteller as well as us who are listening. Your pacing was brilliant. I loved the magic necklace. The sound effects was perfect. Again, I'd also like to echo what Kitty said with the ooh. I was like, ooh, I loved it. I was there with you. But yeah, the story was truly heartbreaking, and I think for most of us listening, it did bring up this feeling of, you really done well at recognizing this feeling of loss. And yeah, it was I wasn't prepared for that at all. I mean, I haven't lost anybody for a long time, but I obviously, I think we've all experienced it in one way or another, and it really did resonate and touch me. So well done for managing to bring that, because if you can do that, if you can make people feel something when you're telling a story, then you smashed it. It was a really lovely story, so well done. Savage Cook, then we came on again, another really touching story. We had when you first came on, I did sort of think, oh, well, we could use some visual effects here, but you didn't disappoint. I like that, because you didn't sort of just give it to us all up front. Like we kind of, as you got more into the story, then you brought in the light effects, and then you brought in the different things. And I was like, oh, okay, that's great. You're not giving it all away up front. I liked all of that. I liked the your story was really interesting. And also you were really good at setting the scene as well. That's another really good thing, because if you take the time when you're writing a story to actually be ready to script it, like when you were describing like the people in the room and setting the scene and the lighting and all these kind of things, like for the people listening, it really helps us to create pictures in our head, and actually like it places us into the story. So yeah, it was a really good job as well. The only small bit of criticism I probably would have said was just maybe a little bit more energy. I know that you had a couple of little small technical problems with a couple of sound effects and stuff like that, which temporarily interrupted the story a little bit, but you know, this can't be helped. So, but all in all, it was really good, really great. Both of you done an amazing job tonight, and thank you for sharing your stories with us. And thank you, Meg.
My pleasure. Thank you for being a judge. If anyone was just tuning in, please make sure you have all of my judges favorited, all of the guests favorited, definitely favorite my top 3 of the stream. You were just listening to Top Bad Zoe Essex give her final critiques and review on today's show storytellers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the judges will be retiring to the chat to deliberate and declare a winner for today's episode. If anyone who has shared their story today did not win, you are encouraged to please stay in touch with us. We'd love to have you back now that you've gotten some critiques and some feedback on it. And for anyone who would like to be part of our show, please reach out to myself or any of the admins. Top Bat Smurf is going to be taking off because she has a featured show that is right after mine at 4 o'clock. So please, can everyone, once my show is over, please go over to Top Bat Smurfy's show. She's one of my loves here on the app. Please go visit her right after mine. It starts at 4 o'clock. Please jump right into her. She's the next featured show. Pause this week, but okay, she has an Olympics at 6 o'clock. Okay, it's paused. I'm sorry. So don't go visit her. I mean, if you want, you can go visit her, but after my show. Um, but definitely she has an event going on at 6 o'clock. She has an event, but she's going to be live before then. So please join our room. She's one of the most wonderful people on here. All my three judges are amazing. But you know what? I'm stalling because the judges are busy deliberating on a winner. So I'm kind of trying to keep it going. And I'm looking because I think it's going to get really, really technical today. There were two great, strong stories. So I'm kind of stalling until they battle and uppercut, undercut, uppercut. I see a little kung fu fighting in here. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I see other objects coming out. This is getting a little scary. All right, a big comment. Can both of the storytellers please request the box? I will declare a winner for today's episode, and we're going to congratulate that person. Now, the other person, please stay in the box. I will box you up as well, so you get a chance to promote anything that you have going on. Welcome to everyone. Welcome to Once Upon a Mejstory. I am your host, Badge Mesh. Please return every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for storytelling time. If you'd like to be a guest here on our show, please reach out to any one of us, any of the admins, and we'll have you on. We've got 1 more minute. If anyone would like to be the gold king or queen, here is your moment. Just be the top bubble of the stream. And it looks like Top Bat Smurfy is going to win that exclusive honor. So but anybody could snipe it. Just saying. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please congratulate. Oh my Lord. And I believe that's how you win it. With a snipe. I'm just taking a quick picture. It's a block and report for me. Ladies and gentlemen, well, we still have 1 more minute. It's going to be like a jet war. I'm scared to declare a winner. Jay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And it is Midtown. It's 4 o'clock. So Midtown, please send me your photo. You are the gold king of today. And don't block and report him. Please don't block and report him. Congratulations. Can everyone please congratulate Bariqua Queen? You are our winner for today's episode.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We love her. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Everyone, please congratulate and favorite this amazing love of mine. To make sure we favorite her. Any words? Anything you'd like to share?
No, I'm very. Smurfy had me in tears when she was talking and giving me the critiques and things like that. This story was very meaningful for me as well. It was kind of the side of it had some loss behind it. It was kind of like a story like if my daughter would have told her after my husband passed away, her dad. So it was kind of like that scene behind it on this story. So I was very nervous. I know I was very nervous because I didn't know how to.
I'm gonna have to exit you. First time ever with me. Enough, lady.
But it was. I had an amazing time. This is my first time writing a story. I had never done this before. It was something that I wanted to do. Because we try to get guests on here to do the show, and we always tell them, "Oh, it's easy." Well, I wanted to test the theory of how easy is this. Let me tell you, it's not as easy as it looks. But it's doable. It's doable. Imagination and creativity and content. Here we go. But thank you so much. Again, I'm here. I'm one of the admins for Mesh. I do different shows here on the app, singing and stuff like that. So there you go. That's me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Boricua and I are also putting on a show on Monday. We have Battle of the Sexes on Monday. It's a musical talent competition. We're going to have some of the divas of the app go up against the Titan singers on the app. It's going to be a Battle of the Sexes. You don't want to miss it. It's 9 p.m. on Monday, this upcoming Monday. It's going to be a showdown. I'm talking diva of divas of singing versus the men of singing here on the app. It's going, I know you lying. Farmer just favored me. Wow. So anyway, please make sure you tune in on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Congratulations again, Boricua Queen. Yes, and oh my God, Kitty, it's going to be in the middle of your show. Okay, Savage, can you please request the box? So